My name's Maya Reddy, and I am 17 years old.
When did you first get involved in archery?
I started shooting in 2014, late 2014, but I really started competing in 2016. It's been a really wild ride. I started when I was 11, but I turned 12 at the beginning of that season.
Why did you stick with it? What made it special?
I think the most special thing that I got from the sport was the family and friend group that I got from it. I was getting bullied at the school I was at in middle school, and then I transferred schools after I started shooting archery because it kind of gave me more confidence, and it brought me a lot of friends. So I had a lot of people that I compete with that I see all the time at competitions and stuff. Most of them live out of state. A lot of them live in different parts of the nation, and we all come together at the shoots, and it's super awesome. Yeah, I think the thing that made me stick with it and the thing that I love most about it is the community and the friends that I made.
So were you recruited to the national team, or what was that path?
For my first year, I shot the state circuit, and that's NFAA, and there's 3 tournaments. I won Triple Crown that year, or the second year that I did it. And then after that, it kind of became almost too easy to shoot state. I was progressing pretty quickly, and I decided to go to a couple of national tournaments. I went to maybe 2 my first year. So I qualified in 4th last year, and I made the team because it's 5 and up.
Okay, and do you work out or do training with a specific team of national?
No, because we all live in different parts of the country. So we don't get to practice together ever, but I do cross training too, I lift weights and stuff, but it's mostly shooting. Because archery, I'm sure you would imagine, it leaves you pretty asymmetrical, so I've got different muscle groups on this side that work a lot better than those same muscle groups on this side, so you have to work out to keep things even so you don't get hurt.
Do you go to national competitions? Are you aiming for a world competition or the Olympics? Do you have a goal?
Yeah, so compound archery, which is the type of archery I shoot, isn't in the Olympics. So I can't do Olympic sort of things, but we do have international competitions. I qualified as alternate for one of them in 2017. I was the youngest person there. It was pretty crazy. I didn't get to go to the competition because I was an alternate, but I was the youngest person that made the team. I actually had to shoot into a higher division, and it was pretty cool, pretty scary.
Would you say that you have any role models, either preferably women role models in either archery or just in life that have inspired you to keep pursuing this?
It's kind of crazy because I had a lot of role models and women that I looked up to that shot archery, but now when you get to a certain level, they kind of turn into your competition almost. So I really look up to Emily B. She doesn't shoot archery really as much anymore. She does a lot of photography now. I looked up to her a lot when I was younger. She's beautiful, she shoots incredibly well, and she's just the sweetest person ever. Paige Pierce, she's local to the Pacific Northwest-ish. She's at Northern California. She's really sweet too. She comes to some of the shoots up here, and she's really awesome. You want to look at some recurve women that compete in the Olympics. Casey Kaufhold is amazing. She's 15, and she was supposed to go to Tokyo this year. She is just such a great shot, and Mackenzie Brown is also a really great recurve shooter. If there are people that are interested in archery, then those are specific women that are really good.
And do you see yourself as a role model, especially for aspiring archers?
This year when I went to indoor nationals, I was really sick. I was just diagnosed with anemia. I was really ill, and I was shooting, and I couldn't even get up to walk to get my own arrows because I was gonna faint on the floor. And this little girl came up to me while I was shooting, and I've never met her before. And she came up to me, and her dad was right behind her, and he goes, yeah, go on, you can tell her. And she just goes, can you sign my shirt for me? It was the first time that anyone had recognized me as a shooter outside of the state of Oregon. I was recognized a few times at state shoots and stuff like that here. just because I think a lot of people follow my Instagram that are from Oregon. But that was the first time out of state, which I was in Texas. And I remember just being like, oh, I felt so blessed. And I signed her shirt and I was like, oh my gosh, can I get a picture with you? I got a picture with her. It was really, really sweet. She was like, I love you. I like watching you shoot and all this. And her dad was telling me how she was sitting behind the watching line, watching me the whole shoot. And her dad came up and told me how much like my form was helping her learn and stuff. And she was like 7 or 8 years old. And it was one of the best moments ever.
So is that kind of how you want to hopefully inspire future shooters to like?
Oh yeah, I would love for the sport of archery to grow so much. That would put, I mean, a lot of other sports, especially Recurve Archery too, they have sponsors like, Hyundai sponsors them in Korea and other things, but it's not really that big in the US. And if we could get compound archery to be big in the US or other big countries, then it could go into the Olympics and it could be, a bigger sport. And I think that would be so good for the sport in general. And I definitely want to be part of that.
Can you like explain quickly like kind of the difference between the like archery types and like what specifically you do?
Yeah, for sure. So when you think about like more modern archery, there's typically 2 different types that you would think of. There's recurve archery, which is I call it like the Katniss style bow. When a normal person thinks of archery, most of the time they think of the bow that's kind of, like a curve. And that's why it's called recurve. It's a curve. And there's the string that goes and attaches both limbs, and then off of the string there's a stabilizer, and they have a sight, but they don't have magnification in their sight at all. Yeah, that's what's in the Olympics, hence Olympic style recurve. And then compound archery isn't in the Olympics yet. It has pulleys, so there's a pulley system sort of. If you look up a picture of a compound bow, you'll get a picture that has 2 cams on the top, and then kind of a complicated looking thing on the front, and then a string, and kind of a lot of strings attaching to the pulleys. And that happens, so when I pull back on my bow, there's kind of a point where I'm pulling the max poundage. Now, if I was shooting a recurve bow, I'd be pulling and holding like 50 pounds right here because there's no pulleys. Now, there's different subsets in each. Like, there's also traditional where you don't shoot with any sights at all, and there's compound has other subsections like bow hunter, which shoot with the small stabilizer and no magnification and stuff. But I shoot freestyle compound, so I have a 28-inch bar on the front of my bow, which has weights on the front, and 12 inches out the back, which have weight on the back, and a 6-power magnification lens on my sight, so I can see my target really well. It varies depending on what style you're shooting, what you can have and what you can't have within regulation, but the 2 main types are recurve and compound. Yeah.
Okay.
So, sorry, that was a lot of information.
No, I'm like trying to picture it like in the kind of the same way that there's like rhythmic gymnastics and like artistic gymnastics and like,
yeah.
Okay.
Mackenzie Brown, her Instagram, you'll see an Olympic recurve, and if you look at my Instagram, you'll see a compound.
Okay.
So,
thank you.
yeah.
That was so great. Thank you so much for doing this.
Yeah, no problem.